What's up YouTube, Kristo here, and I've got a special video for you guys. I'm going to do my top 10 designer houses video. A lot of reviewers will be doing spring list, top 10, 15, 20, whatever, and I don't know, I don't really want to do a spring video. I don't have enough experience with my fragrances in springtime. So I thought I would do another list, something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, my top 10 designer houses. And this has been in the works for a long time, and pretty much kept the same 10, but just kind of shuffle them around a bit. I'm pretty happy where they are right now, so I figured I would take advantage of this time with the list being released and do my top 10 designer houses. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm gonna have to break this in half. I tried to do all 10 straight through. My video was nearly 30 minutes, and that's just too long for me, and it's too long for me to upload. I don't have that time. So I'm going to do my number 10 through number 6, part 1, and then part 2 will be 5 through 1. And for each fragrance house, I will give a perfume to promote, if you will. It's not my favorite, but it's something that kind of stands out to me. Something from this house that's got my attention for one reason or another. Or I just think, you know, it deserves a bit of attention. So first of all, I'm actually going to do some honorable mentions. Oh, I forgot, this is not including any exclusive or private lines or niche lines that these houses do. I'll just be focusing on the designer fragrances. So honorable mentions, I've got 2 honorable mentions. I'll get to them first, do them quickly, then we'll get on to the top 10. So first honorable mention is Tom Ford. Definitely more well known for his private blend niche collection. His designer perfumes are no slouch either, but unfortunately they're not very accessible where I live, and they're very pricey to buy retail. Definitely the priciest designer fragrances I've ever seen at retail. And I mean, you know, not including, you know, diamond encrusted bottles or crystal flacons or anything like that. I mean just your standard, you know, 100 ml retail price. They're very expensive, well over $100. So I don't have any, and that's the only reason that they're not making my list. Next year, perhaps, if I can get my hands on some, they'll definitely jump up in the numbers. Other honorable mention is a fragrance house that I'm honestly getting quite sick and tired of hearing about. I'm joking, I'm totally joking, but there's just way too much buzz about them, way too much hype. Everybody's going mental, everybody's pushing up prices on them, they're in such high demand. Honorable mention, the second one, Thierry Mugler. And to me, the only thing that is worth the asking price for the men's house, or for the more men's section of the house, is Amen. And the funny thing is, if I had the chance of getting Amen, B-Men, Pure Havane, Pure Coffee, Pure Malt, or Pure Shot, all at the same price, I would take this. And I wouldn't even second guess it. I wouldn't even, you know, it'd just be instant. I just grab it. There's no question. People are paying over $200 for Pure Malt and Pure Coffee. Pure Shot hasn't even been discontinued or hasn't even stopped production yet, and people are already trying to sell it for $100. On eBay and on Facebook groups and stuff, and it's just ridiculous. It's getting insane. Amen is technically the only original perfume Mugler makes for men. Everything else is either a flanker, Mugler cologne is unisex, or the women's fragrances from Mugler. Now, women's fragrances from Mugler I really like a lot, and the women are quite lucky because they have some pretty good stuff to pick from. They've got more than one original release, and they've got some really fantastic flankers for each one of them. So I definitely think the women definitely have it better in the Mugler house there. But I'm a really big fan of Amen, I definitely say that. Alright, so let's get into it. Number 10. Now the perfume house here, or the designer house here, the first fragrance I ever tried by them just blew me away. It really opened my eyes to perfume. I say that a lot, but this was something that it stands out in kind of the milestones of my perfume career. Strangely enough, that house is Paco Rabanne. And I'm not talking about 1 million, definitely not talking about 1 million, not talking about Black XS even. The first fragrance I ever tried by them was Ultraviolet Man Colors of Summer, which was a limited edition flanker. I bought it about 3 years ago and it just stunned me, it wowed me. And even today I have, and I chose to represent Paco Rabanne, Summer Pop, which is virtually identical to it, possibly even identical to it. And such a wonderfully bizarre fragrance. It's so strangely plasticky and synthetic, but it has this really amazing grapefruit note in it that I love, just absolutely love. The Ultraviolet Original, I can pass on that. I'll leave that behind, no problem, but that I really, really enjoyed a lot. Now the reason I put Paco Rabanne in 10th place is because they've made a lot of perfume, they've made a lot of flankers for a lot of different fragrances, and a lot of them just are not worth the time. They smell too similar, or they smell too weird, or they smell too sweet. I still have a big soft spot for Black XS. 1 million I was never that big a fan of, but just for the sheer variety of what they do and how unique and interesting their men's and women's fragrances are, I definitely think they deserve number 10. Number 9, this house, on the contrary to Mugler and Paco Rabanne, never been hyped, barely even a whisper of them on YouTube. I've mentioned them a few times and I've tried to promote them. I've heard a few other people mention them, still totally under the radar. Number 9 I'm giving to Trussardi. And Trussardi is a very little known Italian fashion house, and they do have a fair range of perfume, definitely not as extensive as other fashion houses, but what they do and what I've tried is really good, really unique, very affordable, unfortunately quite difficult to access. A lot of people in North America find it difficult, even a lot of people in Europe can't find it. Without a doubt, Trussardi is one house that I have had more comments and private messages, people asking me about them and asking where they can find it and if I'll do more reviews on them. What I've chosen to represent Trussardi is such a fantastic fragrance. This made my top 10 summer list last year. This is Essenza del Tempo, and this is a unisex. It's got such a unique scent to it. There's a long story to it. I'm planning on doing a review for this. I just can't get it perfect yet. This has a wild carrot note in it, which I just find so enchanting. It's so unique and so interesting. I love it so much. Trussardi, such a fantastic house, but little to no exposure on them, unfortunately. Alright, number 8. This is another house. Well, another house that has a fragrance that was really hyped up. Everything else seems to have gotten forgotten about. I definitely have tried to promote one of their fragrances. I've become a bit of an ambassador for them and for it. Number 8 is Lalique, and I really enjoy Lalique. They are a French, actually they predominantly make crystal. In fact, I don't think they make any designer wear. They mostly make fine glassware and crystalware. But they do have a pretty decent catalog of perfumes. I'm a huge fan of Lalique White. Anyone who knows me, knows my channel, knows I am over the moon for it. And I've pushed it enough, so I thought I would kind of rekindle an old favorite, Encre Noire. A lot of people seem to have forgotten about this, the whole niche craze recently. There definitely still are fans of it out there, but compared to what the hysteria was like a year or a year and a half ago, it's definitely died down a lot. It is a fantastic fragrance as well, and it is a very different suiting fragrance than Lalique White, which is nice. So, between the two of them, you can cover a lot of bases. Women's perfume from Lalique. a lot of it I do find a bit synthetic, unfortunately. Lalique, I believe it's called Lalique Parfum or Lalique de Parfum. That's nice. It's kind of a boozy vanilla fragrance. That's quite good. Amethyst, my wife wears amethyst. I do like that. Very cheap as well. You can get Lalique often for $50, $60 or less. Worth looking into. Alright, number 7. Now this is a huge house. This is a monstrous house. And the reason I'm putting it in 7th place is only because I have such little exposure to them. They have one of the biggest catalogs of any perfume house or any niche house, designer house, whatever. Number 7 is Guerlain. And unfortunately, a lot of people, when they think of Guerlain, they simply think of several of the niche line, and they think of L'Instant Extreme. There's so many fantastic fragrances from this house that just get totally overlooked. This is a fragrance house that dates back well over a century, and they have so many different classic fragrances, so many timeless fragrances as well. You know, they have amazing releases basically from every decade into like the 1800s. Now myself, to represent Guerlain, I decided to bring out L'Instant EDT. Solely because it's just getting overlooked by so many people. A lot of people are just going straight for extreme. This isn't my favorite from Guerlain anymore, but it is definitely a phenomenal fragrance. You can see I've put quite a big dent into that. I use this a lot. It's very versatile. It's much easier to wear than the extreme version. And yeah, I'm not going to get into too many of the other fragrances because there's just too many of them. But Guerlain, really guys, seriously look into them. There's some amazing releases from that house. Number 6. This is one house I actually wish would make more flankers or even more original releases for men. Number 6, I chose Prada, and Prada had both of their original men's releases ranked in my top 10 designers, which is pretty big. That shows you how much I enjoy them. All they make for men are Prada Amber and Prada Infusion d'Homme, both of which I love. I absolutely love both of them to death. Vetiver and the Prada Amber Intense, excellent, but unfortunately I just can't get my hands on them. 2 original releases, 2 flankers, that's good. That's a good number. Don't rush it, don't push it. So what have I chosen to represent Prada? Well, I cracked out my Amber. Felt I was a bit harsh on it. I felt I was, a bit mean in my top 10 designer list. I put it in like 7th or 8th place. I was a bit hard on it because of the vanilla note. So I thought I'd give, a bit of limelight here. This is such a fantastic fragrance, and if I can look past the vanilla, this is exceptional. It's absolutely amazing, and for the price versus quality, this is one of the best designer fragrances I think that is out there. The women's Prada selection, very good as well. Infusion Diris, whatever you want to say, very similar to Infusion Dome. They have Candy, which is, wow, that's nice. That's very nice. It's kind of like Infusion with a sweetness to it. Definitely worth looking into. So anyways, there you go. There's my honorable mentions, top 10 parts, number 10 to number 6. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? I want to hear your top 10s. Perhaps you can leave me half of my other video. What do you think will be in my other half? What'll make my top 5? I'm sure a few of my loyal viewers will have a pretty good idea, but I'd be interested to know. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you again soon.